All right, welcome everyone. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. And appreciate everybody's attendance today. So here on the board today we have today's objectives, and remember we've been talking about some reading and writing skills and developing those. And so today, by the end of the class, students are going to be able to identify the skills required to write an outline. We're going to read a short story, and we're going to have the students demonstrate their knowledge in active reading and writing by reading the short story and then create an outline draft. So this is not going to be your final product, this is just we're building a draft first. Then the homework, what you'll do is you will actually take your draft from today's class and revise it, because we're going to have some activities where you break out into groups, get some peer reviews, get some feedback from your peers, and you'll give feedback to their peers for their outline, and then they'll take that and complete a second draft tonight, and you come tomorrow equipped with that. Then just finally, this is just our gauge for English, how we're doing. Last class we did great, we spoke English only, and we're going to see how we're doing today and see if we can do English only again, because the more we practice, the more proficient that we'll get at using English. So, let me start off by asking some have you ever questions. And let's just start off with try and help get our minds and thoughts going. Have you ever had lunch with a group of friends at school?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great. Have you ever had conversations with your friends about other people at school?
Of course.
All right. And have you ever been in an experience where you've seen somebody mistreated at school?
Yeah.
All right. So part of the short story is very well related to students and your age groups. This is a story that we're going to read today, a short story, and it's titled Note to Sixth Grade Self by Julie Oringer. And she was writing a short story about her experiences when she was in sixth grade, and her and her friends and the group, and how they actually mistreated some students, and some of the experiences that she had and the learning from that and improvements that she was able to make in her life. So we're going to go ahead and read that story today. Then we're going to just talk about how you can predict what's happening in the story. So for example, if I was to say, here's the moon, and here's a cow, and the cow jumps over the moon, what's going to happen when the cow jumps over the moon? It's right, it's going to come down again, because gravity is going to bring the cow down. So we're able to take some experiences and actually predict what's going to happen. So we'll do some of that a little later in some of our exercises. And want to be able to review some of the reading activity skills, and how do we, remember we talked about this last time, of how to be an active reader. Does anyone remember some of the things you could do? All right, correct. You can underline. So as we're reading, we can underline items. We can also highlight.
Marks.
Right, so we can mark things, and so anything that just helps us as we're reading, we're picking out key points of ideas and thoughts that are relevant to perhaps in developing ideas for our outline that we would do later. So this is all part of the this active reading portion. And remember, there's other areas we talked about in both reading and writing and some various steps. We talked about let me just erase that. We talked about pre-reading reading, and post reading. And just in similar, we have similar steps in writing. So we have pre-writing. What's the other one? Writing, correct? And post-writing. So we're going to walk through these steps today and work out obviously all the key points and the things that we need to do in each of these steps so that we can know what phase that we are at. So we're going to get obviously to write an outline draft, and so in our writing then we're going to get some comments, and so the comments would be in our post-writing process, and we'll break these down a little further as far as each point of how we get to. Another key point is that we're going to look at is that we're going to talk about is grammar. Grammar, while we're not going to focus intensely on grammar, but when we get to our outline, we want to just take a look at how we're doing in our grammar, in particular, and just to see if we're more, from my judgment, to see the areas that we can focus on to help you students out. For example, if the class is making common areas in, say, past tense, which we can then take a look at it, and maybe we need to have a micro lesson or a mini lesson or something on past tense, and so we can go through and focus on those items too. So those are kind of areas we're going to focus on today, how we're going to get there, and now we're going to move forward and talk about the instruction on these key items.